Well, I am glad that you guys are here tonight. We are going to continue our series, I Declare War. Would y'all give a warm welcome to all those tuning in online, maybe at a later date? We consider you part of our family. We're glad that you're here. Let us know in the chat where you're watching from, where you're tuning in from. We love seeing where you guys are watching from. So we're continuing our series, I Declare War. We started a couple weeks back, and I started off by asking this question. Have you ever experienced conflict? Yeah? Have you ever experienced deciding between doing the right thing and the wrong thing? Yes? I shared a story with you guys that I was on the way down to the beach with some friends, and their car broke down. And they called and said, hey, we need you to help us. And I was like, well, let's see where your location is. And they sent us their location, and they were an hour and a half behind us. I'm like, I kind of faced a decision, like, do I really want to help? Or do I just want to say, you can figure it out, I'm going to the beach? Ultimately, I went back and helped. I faced another one of those decisions this morning, because we face that every day, don't we? Every day we face the decision of, do I want to do the right thing? Do I want to do the wrong thing? Or we say, I'm going to do the right thing, and our spirit is strong, but our flesh is weak. I say I want to do the right thing, but then I don't act on it. And it happened again this morning. I got here to the church, and one of my friend's cars broke down. And I got a text from another friend saying, hey, I'm in the parking lot trying to fix this flat tire. I'm sorry, the car didn't break down. They had a flat tire. And said, hey, can you help me change this tire? My mind's like, well, I'm kind of busy. Ask someone else. Ask Ashley Owens, ask someone else who can help. And I kind of weighed that decision. Do I want to help? And ultimately, I'll act on that. But that was self-discipline that I've tried to instill in my life for years. I say I want to do the right thing, but do I always act on the right thing? I shared this quote with y'all a few weeks back, and it said, your life is moving in the direction of what? Your strongest thoughts. See, a few months ago I said your life is moving in the direction of what? Your closest friends. And I believe that in addition to that, your life is also moving in the direction of your strongest thoughts. Your mind is very powerful. What you think is very powerful. I want to show you some optical illusions. I got them on the screen, and we'll throw them up on the video for those of you tuning in online, and we'll have these printed out for y'all to look at in your small group, because you probably won't believe some of these. But this first one, throw it up on the screen. 2 squares, 2 gray squares. Which one's darker, left or right? Left. Who thinks right is the darker one? Who thinks left is the darker one? Yeah? Would you believe me if I said they're the same color? Some of y'all would believe that because they are, but some of you don't believe that. You're like, whoa, one looks darker. Your mind is powerful. It's saying one is darker. What's this next one look like? You see the two circles? I don't want to block you guys. Which one do y'all think is darker? Which circle is darker, left or right? You think they're the same? You've seen these before? Who thinks left is darker? A few of you. Who thinks right is darker? A few of you. Yeah, some of you are correct. They are the same. They are the same. I have another one. Which orange circle is larger? Right? Who thinks the left orange circle is larger? Who thinks the right one is larger? Most of y'all? Okay. They're the same size. Who knew that already? Let me see. Who knew that? Some of y'all are lying. Some of y'all are lying because some of y'all had your hands raised for the left one. I see you. Do I have another one? Is there one more, I think? All right, check this out. Everyone stare to the middle of that. Stare for 20 seconds. Tell me what happens. Don't blink. If you blink, you're going to ruin it. Oh, where'd it go? I didn't touch it. I didn't make it disappear. How many of y'all saw it disappear? Yeah? Is that crazy? Is that crazy? I think I have one more. I hope I have one more. Throw it up there. There's not another one. I didn't make it. Well, I have another one. I'm sad that I didn't put that up there. I must have forgot. I had another one that had two rectangles that were distorted. And the question, well, you'll see it in your small group tonight. We'll put it in the comments so you can check out online. And it asks, which one is larger? Which table is larger? And it obviously looks like one of them is bigger than the other, but in reality, they are both the same size. My mind's telling me that one is larger than the other one, but really they're the same size. And I actually got into an argument with one of our students earlier. He did not believe me. He could not believe me. I had to cut out a piece of paper and lay it on top of the table and then place it on the second table to prove it is the same size. And he's like, I still don't believe you. I still don't believe you. I'm like, well, you don't have to believe me, but this is facts. Your mind is so strong. It's like, it can't be real. There's no way. Our mind is powerful. Sometimes it can trick us into thinking things that aren't real. Right? What we see sometimes shapes our perspective. And I also believe, listen to this, I also believe that what you think shapes who you are. What you think shapes who we are. When you have negative thoughts and you constantly think negative thoughts, you will live a negative life. When you think positive thoughts, you will live a more positive life. Right? See, listen, we're in a series called I Declare War because I believe that we're in one whether or not you believe it. We are in a war whether you want to admit it or not, that we are constantly battling between the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do. My mind says I want to do one thing, but my flesh, my body says I want to do something else. My mind says I'm going to be nice to this person, and when you get around them, you can't. You begin to act on it. You begin to act differently. Some of you came here tonight and said, you know what? I'm going to listen tonight. I'm going to be on my better behavior tonight. I am not going to sit next to this person who distracts me tonight. When you get here and you see your friend, you're like, oh, well, I planned on not sitting with you, but you're my boy, and I'm going to sit with you, and now you're just talking, and you're not paying attention because your mind is strong, but your flesh is weak. You experience battles every day, and some of you are walking around feeling like you are your worst enemy. You feel like you're your worst enemy because you want to do the right thing. But when it comes time to do the right thing, you can't do it. You do the wrong thing. I want to read you this verse, if we can throw that on the screen. I want to read this passage out of Romans chapter 7, and it says this. We read this a few weeks ago, and I want to dig a little deeper into it tonight. It says, I can anticipate the response that is coming. Says Paul. Paul wrote the book of Romans in the New Testament. Paul said, I can anticipate the response that is coming. I know that all God's commands are spiritual, but I'm not. Isn't this also your experience? Don't you also experience this? Can you relate with me? Paul is asking. He says, yes, I'm full of myself. After all, I've spent a long time in sin's prison. I am surrounded by sin. I am addicted to things. I am chained to doing the wrong thing. He says, what I don't understand about myself is that I decide one way. I tell myself I'm going to do one thing, but then I act another, doing things I absolutely despise. Who can relate to that? I tell myself I'm going to do one thing, but then I do things that I absolutely despise. He says, so if I can't be trusted to figure it out on my own, what is best for me, and then do it, it becomes obvious that God's commands are necessary. It's obvious that God's word is necessary in my life if I can't trust myself to do what's right. He says, but I need something more. I can't do it on my own. I need something more. For if I know the law and still can't keep it, and if the power of sin within me keeps sabotaging my best intentions, I obviously need help. I want to ask you this, and it's rhetorical. Don't raise your hand, but how many of you would say to yourself, I need help because I want to do the right thing, I want to do the right thing, but I'm surrounded by people, I'm surrounded by thoughts that keep bringing me down, and I keep doing the wrong thing. I obviously need help. I realize that I don't have what it takes. I can talk a big talk, but I can't walk a big walk. I can will it, but I can't do it. I decide to do good, but I don't really do it. I decide not to do bad, and I do it anyway. My decisions, such as they are, don't result in actions. Can you relate to that? My decisions don't result in actions. I tell myself I'm going to do something. I tell myself I'm going to be nice to that person. I tell myself I'm going to be respectful to my parents and my teachers. I tell myself I'm going to act better. I'm going to do better in school. I'm going to practice more in my sport. I'm going to surround myself with better friends. It sounds good in church. You come to a youth service and you say, you're right, Pastor Daniel, I'm going to surround myself with better friends. I'm going to start taking steps toward my full potential. And you leave this place and your mind is so strong. You say, I want to do these things. And then you go back to your same natural habitat. You go back to your same surroundings. And you can't act on the thoughts that you had earlier. It says, something has gone wrong deep within me and gets the better of me every single time. This is a very heavy passage, but I believe that there's students in this room tonight that feel that way. I believe there's adults in this room tonight that feel this way. I know that I often feel this way. I tell myself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do better at this. I'm going to have more self-control, more self-discipline in this area of my life. And my thoughts, it sounds great. I can talk a big talk, but when it comes time to act on it, I'm weak and I fail. I need help. I can't do it on my own. Tonight in small group, I trust that you guys will have conversation. You'll begin to dig into this and have conversations about what we can do to set ourselves up for success, so we can start taking steps toward our full potential, so we can begin to win these battles that we are having each and every day.